He's here, ladies and gentlemen. He makes a warm welcome return. It's Scott Capurro, ladies. How are you?
Fine, how are you?
That's not one of Carol's T-shirts, though, is it?
No.
Just checking.
Yeah.
Scott's been warming up for next month's Edinburgh Festival. We're playing a few dates around the UK, testing out new material. The show's called Scott Capurro Goes Deeper. So I guess it's all about your love for scuba diving.
Pretty much, yeah. How I like to... I like to get down there as soon as possible and rummage around. No, it's been going good. I've had beer bottles thrown at me, and I had a table full of Iranian people write me letters after a show one night and tell me about their feelings, about how...
Like you care.
Yes. Well, I posted them all on my website with my own commentary, and then they wrote me again and said, don't post them, that's not what we meant. I said, when are you going to learn to shut your mouths? People never learn, do they? But, you know, I mean, the show's going well, and I think
Do you have
already...
Do you start off with a big show and try and trim it down for them, make it really sort of
90 minutes, and then, you know, I found 90 minutes of comfortable material, I thought was comfortable, and then I have to cut 30 minutes out and make it 60, so it's better that way than trying to, you know, pad it with stuff, so...
You did Northern Pride
I did on Sunday night, yeah.
How did that go?
Lesbians stayed around and they shared their feelings with me. And, you know, I don't know what it is. People go to a comedy club and then they get offended. I just think, what are you doing here? Stay at home. Stay at home and make your toast.
Did you go down the Maddie McCann route?
I did.
Yes,
well, I did. Look, it's a subject that has to be discussed. I don't even know if Maddie is missing, if it even really happened. But it's worth talking about. The T-shirt sales alone make it worth discussing, I think. So we talked about that and other things. I mean, I just think... You know, comedy is meant to annoy and irritate. That's
but last time you were here, we talked about that.
We did.
Whether or not we should have, you know, whether it has limits or whether the whole point is to break it.
Right, and George the Thug Galloway thought there were limits, but yes. I mean, coming from him,
George the Cat Galloway.
The Thug and the cat. The thuggish cat.
George the Cat.
Yeah, so no, it's going well. It's you know, Edinburgh's a marathon, but I'm looking forward to it. You gonna come up?
How long do you do up there?
The whole month of August, pretty much.
The whole month?
Yeah. You do about 60 or 70 shows, really, in the end, because you do other shows to promote your show, and then it's all competitive and horrible and fun, and it's a cocaine-fueled kind of, you know, relationship-busting.
Surely Coca-Cola fueled.
That's what I meant.
Yes.
A low self-esteem festival. No, it'll be good. It'll be fun.
Good. Good luck to you. And Covent Garden tonight, is that right?
Oh yeah. No, yes.
The plug,
yes.
Remember?
No, you're right.
Why you're here?
Yeah. Covent Garden tonight, and then Libertines for the Camden Festival in a couple weeks, and then Belgium for a couple nights.
Where are you in Covent Garden?
It's the funny side of Covent Garden. The funny side, the
funny
comedy.
Side
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, that one. It's near where the musical is with all the animals, with the crazy African animal musical. You know, that one with the people dressed up.
It's a gay thing, isn't it? The hands flapping around. Yeah.
I know, you can't help yourself. You're the gayest person ever, apparently. I read it in Attitude magazine. You're to quote, you're one great hoofing circus boy, or chorus boy, of a homosexual. You're gayer than they are, apparently. And that's it coming from a gay man. In fact, my friend Tim Teeman, who writes for The Times, I like the alliteration, encouraged me on the phone on the way in this morning. He has to get a date with you. He wants a date with you. He'd read this, and he likes the colors you're wearing.
Just because I like colour, I like...
I know you like hand gestures.
I like doing my hands
I know
like
you
that,
do.
Scott.
I think you're one lap dance away from, you know, yeah, we just need to do a little trimming, a little shaving. Just you know, in support of your Arab brothers. And then you're there on a date with Tim. It'll be good. It'll be good for you. Don't you think? No, I think it will be.
I'm worried it might hurt.
No, you'll learn to like your mother more. You will. You'll come in contact with your feminine side.
It's good to have you, Scott. Always is. We've got a cracking show for you guys at home as well. Let me tell you about it. It kicks off with the headlines. Scott will take us through those. I'm blushing. Under 15 inches of makeup. You can't see. I can just feel it.
You always say 15 inches.
First up, is today's school strike a waste of time? Nice one, Amy. OK, it's time for the headlines? You just do the headlines.
All right. Well, apparently Big Brother's gone too far, or so the Daily Mail says. There are plans for a massive database snooping on the entire population. And they were condemned yesterday as a step too far.
You thought we were talking about a TV show, didn't you, Ed?
What's happening? This is the first series I haven't really watched, and I thought, you know, what have they done?
Nothing's happening on Big Brother as usual. This is actual real life, where there's a scheme that M15 has access.
MI5.
MI5.
Bless.
That's an I?
Yeah.
No, I did. Yeah, no. Can we call it M15 just because
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
Think of it as a motorway.
But it's who's telling us that Big Brother's gone too far.
MI5 says that they're going to look on our mobile phones, the location of our handsets, they can tell where we are when we're making calls.
It's the guy who's saying it's gone too far is the Information Commissioner.
It is, yeah.
So the guy who's kind of in charge of...
Richard Thomas.
Yeah.
He won the public
he's meant to be guarding our data.
of our privacy.
Yes. Well, Britain's about to lose that cherished right of ignoring one another that you've been fighting for so many centuries.
Not talking to each other on the tube.
I think we should let them do it because they'll all die of boredom, frankly. I mean, if you listen to my phone for half a day or yours, they'd be bored rigid, wouldn't they?
But there's this wonderful line that the Commissioner comes out with, which sort of really resonated with Steve. He just says it's not terribly British. It goes against the British way of life. And he also adds, of course, that so far the government has proved itself woefully inept at keeping hold of our data. You know, they leave it on trains and everything else.
Yeah, it gets lost in the mail. I know. So it's scary too if you live on the phone like I do, you know, and you really think that your calls are boring, but there are some moments that you would like to keep to yourself.
Well, only when you're kind of calling your boss names.
Although, interestingly, at my archives conference tomorrow, it's a big debate in archives. They want to keep text messages.
Yes.
I'll tell you what,
it's a
the
very
Tory
live
party's
issue.
issues are electrifying.
It's a very live issue in the world of archives.
Ed, in the extremely likely scenario that you do actually form a government in the...
No, sorry, I thought that you were going to cover the archives conference live.
But in the extremely likely scenario that you do form a government in the next 2 years or so, what are you going to do about this issue of information and what the government keeps? Are you in favour of national databases?
Well, personally, I'm against it. But,
Right,
I mean, I'm against ID cards, so is the Tory party, but I've always been against ID cards.
Big databases with every phone call logged, every text message kept on file?
I think they're terrible.
Only on the basis that our government can't look after them. It's as you say. If we could trust them with the information...
No,
I think in principle it's wrong as well.
It's none of their business what
the
I go up
technology
to.
is suddenly available, so the government says, oh, good, can we
But they're
keep it?
not looking at you, are they? They're not looking at you.
Well, who
Nobody says-
knows?
no, look at it this way, look at it this way.
Already, they've
Look at it
looked
this way.
innocent people who they suspect, councils have been looking at innocent people who they suspect may be lying about where they live in order to get their children to school. Sorry, Ed.
Something semi-serious. Look at it this way. Supposing 50 years ago the government had announced, by the way, we've got this amazing thing that's working quite well. It's called the Post. And what we're going to do is we're going to keep a photocopy of every single letter you receive.
Right.
There'd be riots in the streets.
indeed.
So why are they suddenly allowed? Because of technology to keep every
I think
text message
partially
we
because
send.
people are terrified of terrorism. Maybe people are allowing this to happen.
Yes, but the argument of terrorism, when you actually think about how much damage has been done to the country physically by terror, and then the enormous erosion of civil liberties on the other side, you start thinking the balance is wrong. We didn't have all of this when the IRA was in danger. It's totally out of kilter.
Only because we're hoping that the Secret Services are doing a good job and keeping us safe from terror. We don't know everything that goes on.
We're becoming our own terrorists.
We know that our Secret Services didn't find any weapons of mass destruction. So
You
that
know,
took us to a
but
war, though, Carol.
Yes,
That took
I
us
know
to
it
a
did, but
war.
we're not talking about that. We're talking about the Secret Service. You know, there was a report the other week that said there was a report that said that we have been saved from X amount of hits by terrorists, the things that we didn't particularly know about.
But
we have to trust.
I think there's a lot to be afraid of, and I don't want to know any more about the people I know. When
So,
you find
Scott, we're
things out
bored
about...
with this one. We've moved on,
sorry.
mate. We're just waiting for the headlines.
Well, it's like when you find things out about celebrities, like when you find out what Liza's really like. You don't want to know. I don't want to know what she eats. I don't know if she shops at Summerfield. leave it alone, you know? I want to know. In the Daily Mail, apparently a father has been called a pervert for taking photos of his children while at an amusement park, and they have a photo of the kids, and they're kind of sliding down a slide.
I think we should pixelate that photo just in case innocent children are looked at by adults.
It's in Wolverhampton at a show there, and some women who work there were suspicious of him taking the photos and said, "You're a pervert, why are you doing this?" And he called in police to look at the photos, and the police let him off. But he's like, "I'm their father.
I think those women should be arrested for being busybodies. Wasting police time. Harassment. Harassment of innocent people.
That sounds a bit fascist. I think the women were just looking after the kids. Again, I think we're all scared. I think we're all a bit nervous. I'm nervous about Gordon Brown. I'm very nervous about him. I've been away for a while. He's going to bomb Iran. I read in the paper.
No, he's not.
But he's only got one eye he's going to miss. And I have friends in Newcastle, you know. They're not good friends, but bombing them for an annoying accent seems really an unfair penalty. Anyway, in the Times.